MetaphorReFantazio.
It exists, it came out, and it's a fascinating game. When I mentioned it in the SMT5 Vengeance review, which you should watch, I said that it's unlikely going to top it. While the first 40 hours really made me reconsider, the second half, or the last third, I don't know, reinforced my initial feeling, but I will get to that soon. That aside, the game was suddenly revealed on the Game Awards and I had zero clue what the hell was going on, but then I saw Atlas and the Persona UI style. Come on guys, I know it's not Persona, but fuck's sake, it hurts not to make that a comparison, man. But yeah, when the name of the game was revealed, I was like, Metaphor what now? What the hell is this goofy ass name? And by the end I still stand by that the name sucks ass, but the game itself was apparently a long time in the making, so the people who were hyped for it must have felt like how I would feel if Kiwami 3 or Judgment 3 would get revealed next. So it's a JRPG, a supposed new IP for Atlas. Keep in mind I was mad that there was no Shin Megami Tensei ReFantazio in its name or something like that. But it made sense as I went into the game, seeing how most SMT moves got their names changed for this game to be unique. The calendar system is here with its pros and cons. Mostly cons, not gonna lie. The art style oozes the P5 art style, but transferred into a medieval fantasy format. And as for the combat, it goes really hard. Surprisingly hard. So yeah, the combat. Press turns, my beloved. They are back. They reward exploiting weaknesses as usual, both their player and the enemies. Again, great. However, what's new in this game is in fact formations. Formations are back. They were in P1, lame. And PQ 1 and 2, good. And honestly, I think they are a good concept, but in execution, at least for me, in this game only felt that unless you have a physical attacker like Basilio or Stroll or a tank, there's really no reason to put them in the front row. Like legit, you take less damage in the backline, however you lose out on the physical damage and not magical damage, which means physical hitters stay in front and magical hitters or gunners stay in the back. And I feel like there should have been more benefits to switching formations constantly, even make it like a refreshing buff if you swap formations every turn, which rewards you for not staying in the same place. So yeah, as a magical cannon, my protagonist Aeon was absolutely destroying everyone in the back row. Safe to say he was giving back shots. Fusion spells are also here, the DDS 1 and 2 variants, and they're pretty good. They range from okay to good to insane, and I'm glad that we have some variety. The game really has a lot of variety when it comes to utilizing different SMT mechanics and squeezing them in, even without being an SMT game per se. It really does feel like an evolution of Atlas. I haven't been a fan since the start, same as Yakuza. I started both series in 2020, Yakuza late 2020 and Persona and SMT in early 2020. So seeing them both continuously evolve since becoming a fan, it's It's so nice. Metaphor takes some great things and twists them. Does it make the game instantly S tier? Nope. No way, Jose. See, because here we get to an extremely, and I mean extremely, subjective opinion. The archetype system. I do not like the archetypes. In theory, they are great, but only in theory. To me, the archetypes suffered from where DDS style moveset customization would have been beyond incredible, but the archetypes themselves... Okay, you know what, before I continue with my take, archetypes are just classes. The best way to describe is Y8 jobs. I've yet to play turn-based Final Fantasy games, so it's a job type system, I guess. Now to continue. The archetypes themselves have their own movesets, yes, their own evolution line, you can call it. And their inherited skill slots that are locked to social links. Which, okay, I guess that's a way to make you do the social links, but the problem arises in the fact that there's only like 4 skill slots, and each class, and not to mention the evolution of the same type of class, doesn't retain its previous skills as a bonus. So let's say I got Dragoon, the gunner line max rank. It doesn't have any of the gunner's sniper skills, except maybe like 1 or 2. So you have to inherit them yourself, and then you lose out on the slots. Which brings me to, why even change your archetypes? Like, to improve your moveset variety, obviously, but again, the skill slots are very restricted. 4 slots at most. You can level them up because mastering archetypes gives stats boosts, which is absolutely great. I like that. Mastering also gives XP items, which is also a godsend for grinding the ones you don't like. But yeah, anyways, skill slots. If it had the DDS mechanic of adding any move to your list of moves that you gain from grinding mantras, it would be incredible. Not restricted to whichever archetype you have equipped, and also giving you non-capped inheriting slots. So yeah, I'm just giving my honest opinion. I think the archetypes are kind of mid. Hopefully they'll be implemented way better in the next game. Besides archetypes, my other gripe with the combat is how the difficulty is literally just you ambush them and sweep the enemy, or you get ambushed and basically either barely win, or worst case, get swept. As for the ambushing, right, the game has a real-time combat mechanics, which is godly. Weaker enemies can be killed easily in a few seconds, just attacking them in an action format, which is something I hope they keep for P6 and onwards, but non-weak enemies you just stun by attacking multiple times, which gives you an advantage, and by advantage I mean you basically already won due to how fucking strong it is. Same applies for vice versa, you get ambushed, prepare to suffer. It requires tweaking, but that's an issue. The difficulty is mostly just due to the ambushes. Game itself is rather rough, I will admit, but it's all based on the ambushes. So, onwards into other stuff. The exploration. I think the world itself, Uchronia, is kinda okay. I mean, it's pretty, but eh. Each capital city is great and very distinct, but apart from that, a lot of mainland is kinda samey. And now I'm gonna segue into the dungeons, which are by far the biggest issue I have with this game, full stop. We live in a post-P5 world where Atlas has nailed dungeons' memorability and uniqueness in that game. Yet in Soul Hackers 2, Metaphor, and hell, even SMT5E, they just can't make anything better than decent. And at worst, they make some absolutely dogshit repetitive dungeons with no sense of purpose or aesthetics. This game has easily the worst dungeons I played in a Persona game. Well, every single side dungeon is so bad it's not even funny. Layouts are the exact same with a few twists every so often, but they all have the same mechanics of crawling underneath stuff for secrets and progression. It's a JRPG, so I made myself keep doing them past the halfway point where I knew, okay, these are all the same, these are not worth it. I hate them. But I swapped to easy just so I can breeze through and not be underleveled because, again, it's a JRPG. The main dungeons are also, again, at most okay, and at worst, the Dragon's Den, aka the Okumura arc for this game. It's tedious. They are so uninspired, so forgettable. It just hurts, man. P5R really set a high that none want to even try and reach. Anyways, progression is decent, Protec and rank usual stats. Again, went with another magic build since lately I mentioned I kinda started having a lot of fun with them. And just like SMT5E, I feel like magic made the game a bit easier, so this will definitely be the last magic build for a good chunk. Which means the next SMT game I play, Strange Journey, will be physical build, so hope I won't regret that. The art style, it's really interesting, it's a good look, it's just Persona 5 but medievalized. Okay, trust me, this is the final time I will mention P5. The character designs are really unique for a very diverse racial population. There's a lot of fantasy races and the designs of them are all great. Except Juna's race because they look so goofy to me, I forgot their name. The villain, Luis, is someone I am very, very, very biased of, and his design is something extremely cool and menacing. Again, the character designs and monster designs even, especially humans, go really hard.
What the fuck is that?
As for the game's performance, very pristine. I'll mention that, ran smoothly without any issues. Only the final dungeon had a bit of a random FPS drop for me. But that's really it. Soundtrack. So, okay, this might be a weird take. His soundtrack, apart from a few certain tracks, was very It's not very memorable. It's a fitting one. It's a good one, but not that good. It's really just Fire Emblem Three Houses OST, and I really can't hear any specific unique sounding songs apart from the ambush theme. That is an easy S tier. It's a fitting one, yes, but a good OST objectively. However, subjectively, it's kinda weak compared to the usual SMT stuff. As for more audio stuff, the voice acting is fucking incredible. The voice acting is easily among the best SMT games, and in general other games. Such a cast of diverse accents, and so good. Hulkenberg, Stroll, Heisme, Luis, Basilio, everyone. Every main and supporting character just sounds so good. I can't believe how good they managed to sound. The voice actors cooked so hard, man.
You see, in old times, so long times ago people ate this to reach a higher plane of existence and talk to the gods.
Ha! Yes, you certainly appear to have reached some higher state. Glad I passed.
I haven't heard Japanese, but I can only imagine that the English dub would sweep it due to, well, variety, really. So, not just that, I also gotta mention something, again, subjective. Social stats in the calendar. I started the series being interested in that, but slowly and surely I'm getting too deep in the series where I just think that the social stat BS is so unnecessary. Alongside the calendar system, and social links are fine, especially in Metaphor, where you don't need to hang with people multiple times to rank them up once. You just do it once, 8 times, and boom, the link is done. No BS. Well, there is BS. Social stats as usual, the requirements. God have mercy on you if you forgot to level up Eloquence during the final 10 days and you had Basilio left or something. Thank God I didn't get cooked by that. So, yeah. Story. I obviously won't say everything, but I will mention the biggest issue, the fall off point. The game's story is great, albeit predictable, up until the Dragon's Den and onwards. It gets great during the upper section, where it reaches a great high, and a good twist shows up, but then Rella twist shows up, which comes out of fucking nowhere, and is so badly done. But that aside, it was just not executed well at all. We were supposed to feel sympathetic, but I just couldn't. Felt so out of nowhere. Skybound Avatar was a decent dungeon, great theme, but then they inflate something that should have been just a final boss into a whole ass dungeon, the Tyrant Star. Which is a cool area, but it's just, I don't know, inflating game time. Okay. Not to mention the whole 30-day deadline of the final section, it's such a pace breaker. Anyways, More. More was someone I also liked, primarily the design along with Academia, but man, that twist sucks so hard. The whole "it was fantasy" twist was obviously built up with everything, it's just, I wasn't expecting it to be done like that, really. As for Luis, he really goes from an incredible and menacing villain in the first 70 hours to a generic slop antagonist during the Skybound and the Star. This game to me is a fading glory. 70% of the game is extremely good, but the other 30% is on the opposite spectrum in the worst case. I love what they cooked here, I really do, but it pales in comparison with P3R and SMT5B this year. And the reason why is just unfortunate. It was so close. It really was. At the start I expected an inferior game to SMT5E and even P3R. It almost turned the tables, but at the end it didn't even get close. The cast is easily one of my favorite Megaton casts. Eisman is easily one of my favorite characters, along with Luis. And Hulkenberg. Stroll, new best bro character, easily. Juna was surprisingly neat. Yufa was definitely the weakest of the cast. Nuris was very good, very fun. Basilio's arc was incredible. Again, predictable though. And Gallica is an amazing navigator and a good step in the right direction for other navigators. The protagonist being voiced was a godsend as well. It has amazing prose, but the cons weigh it down. To me, Metaphor is, metaphorically speaking, OG Monster and Energy Assault can that I drank 70% of, and then I went to the bathroom, only to return to it being replaced by the new Monster Assault. It's unfortunate. I think it's an A tier, mid to low A tier SMT game. I think 8 out of 10 at most. That's all. This is a long ass script. So, I love the game. I really did. But it's very, very flawed. So, see you next video. Take care, and bye bye.